Hey there, everybody. My name is Arvin Bautista. Welcome to another episode of Comics Rant. And these episodes have become very much like a diary for me, these longer form episodes that I have. And I kind of like going through some of the things that I've just been doing. And this episode will be about the Peninsula Library's Comics Art Fest. This was just this past few months. The 2026 edition. I did this in 2025 and it was super fun. It's at the local library that's close by. I live in South San Francisco and the main library there is the one that hosted it this year. I believe they said they might change and go somewhere else, and I hope not because it is the best library ever. Anyway, so like I said, this was going to be kind of like a little diary of what's been going on. Just a way for me to blow off some steam and kind of literally rant. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to try to keep it moving and not just me blabbing on about stuff. But this was how my convention, quote unquote, experience happened. It was an expo, a small press indie expo. So I had a table there, and this year I brought some prints, and I printed out copies of mainly my characters. Right, that was kind of what I wanted to do, and my fan drawings of things that I like. So definitely things that other people might not like. This is actually from Zack Snyder's Justice League. I love the scene with Flash and Iris, their first meeting, so I drew up some fan art. This is the Bomb Squad stuff that I've been doing, pinups of my own comic book. So I had a few prints of that, and just the main characters that I had. I even printed out this cover that I did for Image Comics. It was a Death Jr. Volume 1 graphic novel compilation cover. And it was when I was working with my older company, with an old company that I work with called Digital Eclipse. And I was able to do their cover. And this is my own personal piece that I submitted as an entry to this show about death positive, if you can, if that's two words that are hard to kind of put together. But anyway, my main thing was I wanted to sell my own stuff. You know, it's that kind of show where they support the indie press. So I brought my comics, but you know, I couldn't resist. So I also did like these mashup prints, which to be honest, I know sells better. It just does. I think I only have 2 of these now. But I sold out, I only printed like maybe 3 of the one that sold out, which is Kerblactus, which is a mashup between Kirby and Galactus. And you can see these mashups are like things that probably people don't really gravitate to. People they saw Mario in this, but they didn't actually know this was Wario. So I kind of had to explain that. And nobody knew what this was. I think they just knew it was cute. But it's Ice Climbers and the Wonder Twins. Yes, dated mashup combinations that make me chuckle, and apparently nobody else. Anyway, the Kirby one, Kirby and Galactus mashup sold pretty well. I think I did not sell any of the ones with my original characters. I kind of knew that was going to happen. That's just how it is, right? Like, people want to buy things they recognize. They want to buy Batman. I am surprised that nobody bought this, because in my last convention, people bought these more than the comic itself, which is weird. I was selling that too. But anyway, it fetched, I wasn't charging too much for it. It was like $5 a print, which is, to be honest, pretty cheap. People like charge you 20. 10 is a cheap print. I was just selling for 5. But the library conventions, as much as I've figured out, and also from people that are sitting next to me, they don't really sell much. You don't really make a lot of money doing them. It's a different vibe. It's the public library. It's cool. And I'm more than happy to support my public library, especially if I don't have to pay table prices. So this is relatively safe for me to do. So the comics that I had were Holy Matrimony. So I printed up a bunch of these books again. These sold sold good enough last time. And I finally figured out how to do better, how to manage my printer better so I could do full bleed. See how I kind of like had these as the earlier print. And there's like a white border, and I work it into the design so it doesn't look so terrible. But this year I was like, hey, now I know how to do full bleed on my printer. Awesome. So it looks a little better. So I printed up a bunch of these. I think I sold, I had a bunch left over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I sold 2 of them, which is surprising to me because these are a little bit easier to sell, like as in I can explain it better. It's my marriage proposal to my wife, yada, yada, yada. If there's just a passerby, it's easier to explain and easier for them to kind of like digest what I'm trying to do. And then, they'll look inside and, hey, it's cute, get to propose to his wife. See? Anyway, I've shown this in a lot of my episodes already. The other one I printed again were the Bomb Squad Volume 1s, which I've also shown in a different episode. So these are kind of nice just because they're smaller. The print quality is pretty good. Not too shabby. It's kablam. But this year, I did not have a coupon for free shipping. And this was a little bit more painful because I did not make as much money as far as like profit goes from how much it cost to print it and how much I would charge for it. I don't make a lot of money. So it was a little tougher. And what's even tougher is I think I had 1, 2, 3. I printed out 10 of them. I think I sold 2, which is, I guess, par for the course. I printed out 10 of these and I sold 2. So not too bad. So those are the usual ones. The ones I really did want to capture this episode are these. So it's Superheroes versus Robot. This is the Hyper Color Edition. And what I did was I colored these in. I think I have a few episodes. And I had some of these too for sale. Nobody bought these. These are the black and white edition. The ash cans. It's kind of hard to try to sell this, I guess, next to this one, unless you're like some crazy fan. Because this is fully colored, quote unquote. Fully colored. So there's a difference. I like black and white myself. It was kind of, it's kind of what this book was designed to be. Black and white. Until I stumbled on how to color it. And, I'm very happy with how the colors turned out, to be honest with you. It's the only way to go now. But this is like the ash can edition. So you can see it without its color treatment. So these did not sell. I only had 4, so that's okay. And also these, I hand print these. So these are, you could say the cost is negligible. It's just, there's blood, sweat, and tears put into like the many hours that I drew this thing. So I only sell this for like $5. You know what I mean? Like I'm more than happy to try to spread this along. And I printed out, spread the book out to everybody so everybody can read it. I printed out 10 of these, and now you can see I only have 2 left, but 2 I gave to Comics Experience, which is a comic book store in Divisadero in San Francisco. I was able to sell, I gave them one of these last year to sell at the shop, and somebody actually bought it. And it was a super cool guy, comic shop owner in, I can't remember where he is. He's like Dallas or something like that. And he also does his own indie comics and stuff like that. So that was nice that he supported this book, because Comics Experience then will be like, hey, we sold one. You want a restock? And I actually gave them a restock of the colored version of this. And what was I going to go through here? Let me show you guys. So the Hypercolor edition, I just had fun. I stayed up really late doing these prints, guys. It's kind of crazy. I don't know why, but I just had to. I think I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then the show was the next day. No, hold on. Okay, so what I ended up doing with these books is I generated a unique cover per book that I just set up on the fly. I still have some of the physical copies here on my iPad, but so I did like a bunch of different colored covers, which was just fun. And it was fun that when people would want to buy the book, it was, so I had all these printout copies. I didn't even take a picture of them because it was 3 o'clock in the morning of the convention. of the Expo that I had them done. And then I think this is the last one, yeah. And I just went straight from there. After I printed it and stapled everything together, I went to sleep for 2 hours or something like that, something crazy. Oops, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, so anyway, see, these are the covers, and I think this guy is this one. So there's like a slight difference. Oh wait, no, it's not. Look at that. There's a bunch of covers I did. And I kind of randomly generate them. I think this is the one. Look at how crazy that is. This color is like this more tealy blue, but it just comes out like this cyan. But I mean, part of that is kind of fun, to be honest. So all these color covers are, as of now, unique. There's no other cover that I ever printed like that. And I kind of like that. I have to decide whether I want to reprint some of them because some of the covers I really like. So these two were the ones left. And I was just, as I was saying before I went off on tangent ranting, is I printed 10 of these. And each one of them has a different color treatment, like the ones you saw. And then when people would buy it, I'd be like, okay, pick whatever color you want. And I kind of like to see what color they gravitated towards. There's some things that I'm like, oh wow, they like that color, even though I was kind of meh about it. And some that I thought like, okay, this should be the one that everybody would grab because it's so catchy. But there's another treatment of this with a slightly different variation that was the one that they would pick. So at Comics Experience, I had the comic shop attendant, I guess, pick out the cover, and it was kind of cool just to see them excited, like, ooh, I get to pick a color, you know. So that was part of the fun of doing these books. Let me show you. So I think I may have gone through this, but so I colored my pages, and I think a previous episode I showed you guys, like I photocopied the black and white and then colored on the photocopies. But now you get to see the finished print version. So this is what it looks like when I physically colored this with my awesome Japanese pens. And then the reproduction is actually pretty good. I kind of like it. Like, it's a little bit more pink than the magenta that some of the pens do, but it captures the feeling, the flavor of what I was going for. So let's see. There's a little bit more magenta right here. But I like how it reproduced, and it did certain things that I also enjoyed. Yeah, some I was just like, wow, that just, whoever made these pens knows what they're doing. So like even these like look great, to be honest with you. Once they got reproduced, they look really cool. Maybe that's just my own personal opinion, but even this one. So this one, when I did it, the pens don't color flat, right? Which is the whole point. They're brush pens. They wouldn't do that. And I didn't really have a pen that could do flat. Like I don't have Prismacolors, nice Prismacolors or anything. So I just colored it with the same pen that I've been colored everything else. So they kind of have the streaks. You can kind of see it. See, it's very streaky. Which, yeah, I was like, I'm going to have to fix this in Photoshop or whatever. But what I ended up doing, because I was in a rush, I scanned everything. And then I just arranged it and saved out JPEGs or PDFs. And then it's kind of hard to see. You can see it here. But the reproduction, once I printed it out, actually flattened out the color for me. And it's cool. It's yeah, you can kind of tell. Right, the color is a little bit more pink again, but like the streaks are gone, or more or less they're gone. It's kind of nice that they're kind of there because it adds texture, but it actually did a better job than I would have in Photoshop. I actually tried it in Photoshop. It looked terrible. So that I was super happy with. So these are like the smaller versions of it, the digest editions. And I liked how it turned out. I really do. I think I sold 4, and then I traded with the people around me for other things. That's just the vibe. I mean, you could go to any independent press expo, I think, and you'd get that same vibe of like creators wanting to trade books with you. And this time around, I felt good. Everybody kind of really wanted to trade with this book. This was the one that they wanted to trade for. And I'm super proud of this. I actually like how it really turned out. I wish I could print it bigger, but that will be another problem for next time. So the trades that I got, super cool. So the table right next to me, there were these three ladies, but I really connected with the artist of that table, Katie Longhua, and super talented artists. They have their own book. I'm blanking out on the name, but she was like, hey, want to do a trade? And I was like, oh, heck yeah, let's do a trade. And she pulls this out of nowhere. It wasn't really on the table. And we were talking about the Dragon Ball stuff. Just Dragon Ball in general, right? Like just talking about it. And it's super fun. It's that kind of vibe. And, this is a fantastic book. Look how cool this is. And that was, I think, one of the most fun things for me was really talking to other artists in different, I guess, like situations, different chapters in their artistic journey, right? And myself as well, and kind of trading notes or getting notes and figuring out, or just nerding out about things. So this Dragon Ball one was one of them. A really beautiful book. And then I also talked to this other guy next to me, and this is the other guy that I traded comic books with, which was awesome. He gave me two books for my one. And this is Joe Sikoriak, and he's a local in San Francisco, and he gave me one about like his dental troubles. And this is actually a nicely printed book, and he told me, he's pretty much retired, so he has more time to devote to doing comics. He was kind of like in the same industry as me. He started out doing animation, and then there was a giant set of layoffs back in the day. I think he said like around the early 2000s was when writer strikes and all that. So he lost his job. So he pivoted and he did graphic design stuff. So, and that's what he had been doing until he was ready to kind of just say, forget this, and then retire and then do his own thing. So his is a autobiography about when he would do the convention stuff when he was younger. So this is like, when we were Trekkies, right? They were doing the cons, and this is like, before my time. He's older. But it's kind of cool to read about like the stuff that they do as fans. And I think he has 10 of these. And this was issue 9. So he actually was going to trade me a different book. And then he changed his mind. He's like, no, let's switch it out for this one. And it's kind of cool because he felt like this was a better one than what he traded me. Like personally, like I wouldn't know, right? I wouldn't know. I haven't been reading his stuff. I wouldn't know, but it meant a lot to me that he wanted to give me this one with like a story that he wanted to share more. And it's great. It's really good. I like his style. He draws in different styles too, slightly different styles, right? They're a little simplified and lean more on the cartoon side. But I feel like there's like this Hanna-Barbera thing going on that I love seeing in his book. Very cool guy, very down to earth, and talked about trading, really, right? Trading story woes and trying to push his book and push it into different comic book stores and all that kind of stuff, yada yada yada. But I mean, I say yada yada yada, but it was really all very fun stuff. And the other kid I traded with was this guy named Connor Wilby. He even has like a little photo of himself in the back there. But he gave me like 3 books and he was like, hey, can we trade? And I was like, all right. I'm not really like the trader kind of guy, but now I kind of have been broken in, I guess you could say, and I'm more comfortable trading. So he gave me like 3 of his books, 1, 2, and 3. I think this was his whole series of Blishy, the Talking Banana. And there's some really cool stuff in here that I really loved. And it just kind of reminded me of, to be honest, it reminded me of my book. right? Because it's like when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I just drew everything and anything. It was just the sky's the limit. And this kid is doing the same thing. There's, oh, look at that. Full color. But there's like a diagram of this, like this cool robot that he did. Where'd it go? Is it this one? You know, he'll have like super long panels of this stuff. There you go. It's a house robot. Heck yeah. But anyway, he was kind of slightly shy, but you know, it seemed like he's been trading. He knows how it's done. So he came up to me and he said, "Can I trade it for that Kirby, the Galactus Kirby?" It's a seller, I tell you guys. The Kerblactus mix. And he's like, but you could also trade me this comic book. Like, you know, almost like but he really wanted the Kerblactus one. And, you know, he kind of felt bad, I think, that he was trying to trade his stuff for the Kerblactus one. So he would, like, take himself a notch down to what he would I guess second if he could not get the Kerblactus print, and it was this book. But I knew what he liked, so I was like, oh, okay, yeah, heck yeah. I mean, you know, as a independent publisher, right, like, you know, this is like color copies with staples, and, you know, he had to pay for this, maybe his parents had to pay for it, but it's X amount of money, right? So when I think about it like that, and doing a trade like that, then I'm like, sure, heck yeah, get the Kirby print, sure, no problem. You know, like, we're basically trading costs here, production costs. I have no problem with that. I can part ways with it, no problem. He seemed pretty happy, and I was pretty happy. You know, it kind of just helps me reorient myself, right? Like, why I do this stuff for. Hold on. Let me grab this. So that was my haul. I really should have walked more and traded more. But usually in these conventions, I'm trying to make money. Even though you don't make money in these conventions as quickly as I'm realizing now. I killed myself printing out 10 of these and stapling them the night before. I mean, yeah, okay, so I did get to use 6 of them, I suppose. But, you know, I even did 10 of these guys. 10 of these and 10 of these. Right? But now I can kind of gauge and be a little bit more realistic. I'm always trying to shoot for the moon, right? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sell 10 of these, $5 a pop. I'm going to be rich. You're not going to get rich doing comics. Anyway, so that was my experience. I really enjoyed it. I think that was one of the main takeaways that I get from the expo, is that I get to connect with other creators. And really, that's what I need to focus on the next time, right? Like next year, I'll be back next year. I don't have to pay for a table, wherever it might be, but I'm going to try to make a better effort to know other people, just other creatives. Sure, I'll try to network so I can get, I don't know, maybe a job somewhere or whatever. But really, like, this is about getting to learn about other creatives and their experiences, and how maybe I can help myself or help them if they want help from me. I got one of these cool pins from the expo, which is cool. You know, this is cool. The library would do stuff like this. They had some good speakers there. And then, this is one of the bigger disappointments that I had. Let me put my name there again, just to have no blank space. Is I made stickers. So I had this great idea. I was going to make stickers of my characters, right? I'm trying to push my own stuff. Fan art is easier to sell for sure. But what's the point, right? It's not like I'm going to get rich selling fan art anyway. So if I'm going to be broke, I'm going to be broke with my own stuff. So anyway, I went with this one sticker company. And the stickers came out pretty nice. But I ordered it way before, or not way before, but a couple weeks, right? Like, it really was a couple weeks before the con. And I have not done sticker things ever. So I thought a couple weeks was maybe short, but I thought they could probably do it and they could get it to me. They could not. They have this whole process where I'm supposed to approve a print, but I never got the PDF. It was just non-existent. I got in touch with them maybe a little too late. That was my bad. But they said you should have gotten a proof. If you send that proof, we could get it done. They're in California. I forgot their name. It's probably for the best that I'm not trashing their name. But, you know, they said, okay, just send that out. Well, I'll send you the print again. And again, look, this happened like, I think 2-3 times. And I never got the proof. And I would, you know, now that I knew how their system was, I was like, all right, well, I didn't get the proof. I didn't get proof again. So I keep bugging them. And they were, I guess customer service was fairly nice, right? Like they get back in touch with me. They weren't rude. This was all through email. So I guess they could be rude if they wanted to be. I just wouldn't know the tone. And anyway, long story short, that took forever. They said they were going to do express mail to me. It still took them a month and a half to get me these stickers. It's crazy. So by the time the Expo hit, it was way too late. My great plans was I was going to, let's say like I'll sell this for $2, but I was going to bring a gachapon machine that you could pay $1. And then one of these stickers would be in there, but you'd also be able to get like other prizes. So maybe like there'd be one gachapon egg that would be like, get a free comic book, or not a free comic book, but get a comic book instead, or get like a print, right? Which would be kind of worth it, right? For $1. $1. I mean, it's for fun. And my kids have like this gachapon machine that I like, that we never use. That's just hanging out in their room. And since the stickers never came, there was no chance to do the gachapon machines. Again, something for next time. A lot of the people that I talked to, you know, or, you know, I didn't talk to a lot of people, but I did talk a lot to the people next to me. They were saying, you know, Oakland convention, or there's an Oakland con that's coming up that should be pretty good. Everybody's like super excited about it. But then there's also Capes and Cow Con, which I guess does a lot of money. Like the creators really sell a lot of good money. And, you know, right now I am broke-ish. Freelance jobs are hard to come by. Mine just ended recently. That's why I'm on this camera. Some of them don't pay well. I get one nice juicy one. The other freelance jobs that I do are actually for friends. So I don't charge them a lot, because I just want to help them out. Everybody's kind of in the same boat as me. Everybody's trying to push their own stuff and we don't have money. We don't have money to do it. AI has already come for my job. It's done. I need to swim in a different way and figure out how to do, if I still want to how to continue a creative arts job, I guess, right? And make money, right? So basically, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now, it doesn't make money. I just try to make sure I break even, and then that can just let me live to fight another day. Anyway, so that's it for this episode of Comics Rant. I hope you guys were slightly entertained about my ExpoCon woes, and I hope to see you guys next time in a different episode. Well, I'll have to figure out what I would like to do next, both professionally and creatively. And it's been easier to kind of do the short clips of comics, flipping through comics or going through libraries and doing that stuff. But it is time for me to kind of vent a little bit and do more ranting. It's true. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time on the next episode, and I hope you guys have a good day.